Using Eleventy, I've created a collection of posts, and inside my index.nunchucks file, I'm looping over each post and outputting the date, the title, and then an excerpt from each post. We can see that output in the browser along the left-hand side here. We have the date, the title, and then the excerpt. What we want to do is create an Eleventy filter that makes this date into a human-readable format. To help with that, we're going to use a JavaScript library called LooksIn. So let's first install that. Let's stop the server, and then we can run npm install LooksIn, and then save that. With that installed, let's restart our server and head over into our eleventy.js file to create our filter. So to start, let's import the datetime from Luxon, and then we can tie into our Eleventy configuration by calling config add filter. And we're going to name our filter format date. Format date is going to take in a date object, and then we'll have a format. And that's going to return date time from JS date, and then we're going to pass in the date object, and then we're going to call toFormat on that using our format that we want to use. Our format that we want to support is actually the short version of the month, so April, and then we would have the date, and then we want to have the year returned. So that's going to be DD as the format. So that's everything that we need to do to set up our custom filter. Now we can actually go back into our index.nunchucks file, and on our post date, we can call this filter by passing in a pipe and then format date. Saving that and heading back over into our browser, we can see now our posts have a formatted date. With our dates formatted, we actually want to add a couple more filters to our configuration that allow us to curate the posts that show up on the homepage. We want to pull in our 5 most recent favorite posts. And we can do that by heading over into our eleventy.js file and first adding a favorites filter. So we'll do config.add filter. And we're going to call that favorites. Favorites is going to take in an array, and then we're going to create our filter. So we'll do const faves equals the post, and the post is going to have a data attribute on it, and we'll name that favorite. And then we're going to take the array, and we're going to call filter, passing in faves. So now we can go back to our home page, and we can pipe on our for loop. We can call favorites. This currently isn't going to return anything because none of our posts have a favorites on it. So we can go into one of our posts, and here above the title, we can have another attribute called favorite, and we'll set that to true. So we can see that show up here. Our next one, we'll add that as a favorite as well. Let's add 3 of these. Next, we want to add another filter that allows us to limit the amount of favorites that gets returned. So let's head back into our eleventy.js file and add another filter. So we'll do config add filter, and we'll call this filter take. And the take will take in an array and then an amount, and we'll default that to 2. So we'll return the array.slice on 0, and then pass the amount that we want to return. So with that set up, we can go back into our index file, and then after favorites, we can pipe in another filter, and that'll be take. And that outputs the 2 latest favorite posts from our post collection.